Tonight, police reveal a new clue to help spur tips in the killing of an international student.
A distinctive flashing blue light can be seen at the top of the windshield.
The unique aftermarket vehicle add-on that investigators in Peel say could help crack the case of a deadly carjacking in Mississauga.
If someone is escaping danger and they come to your house for help, no decent person would turn them away.
Plus, fresh demands tonight in the ongoing struggle to find shelter for refugee claimants. Why a coalition of Black-led groups is pushing for new federal money to be allocated to African asylum seekers.
It operates like an Uber Eats-style delivery platform, but it's strictly for surplus food.
And taking a bite out of food insecurity, the new app helping restaurants divert surplus food from the trash to the table of someone in need. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, it is Friday night, and we are tapping into the hysteria at the box office. People all over the world are clamoring back to the movie theater this weekend, and Toronto, of course, is no exception. The question is the hottest ticket the new Barbie movie, the epic thriller Oppenheimer, or a double feature of them both? Anam Khan is live at Scotiabank Theatre for us tonight, and Anam, it certainly looks like the summer blockbuster vibe is in full swing tonight.
Absolutely, Chris. So even though I'm seeing a lot of pink, there's excitement for both the movies tonight, and many are planning to see both movies tonight. I spoke to the manager of Cineplex, and he told me this location is pulling the highest number of sales in Cineplex in the country.
Pink shoes, pink hats, pink wigs, pink everywhere. The excitement for Barbie is palpable.
Honestly, just seeing like the aesthetic of Barbie, how good Margot Robbie looks, and just seeing how that plays out, I'm very excited for it.
Looking the part is half the fun, and nostalgia is pulling in many.
I actually owned all of these items already for years.
Barbie is just such a part of our youth growing up, so it'll be very cool to see this as, like, you know, older women and reconnect with our past. The cast is fabulous.
But it's a double feature kind of night, with lots of people also hoping to catch the BIPOC thriller Oppenheimer too. It's even coined a nickname, Barbenheimer.
We're wearing Barbenheimer shirts.
Which movie are you gonna go watch?
Both Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Barbie and then Oppenheimer, in that order.
Official stats from Cineplex show 130,000 tickets were sold in advance for both films, and the movies are only 3% apart in sales. Scotiabank Theatre's general manager says it feels like it's back to pre-pandemic times with the summer blockbuster battle.
And watching two movies, some of them watching Oppenheimer and watching Barbie on the same day, that's like 5.5 hours here. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a very long time.
A U of T expert says Barbie's success this weekend is a triumph of good marketing.
So I think that this marketing campaign managed to tap into a lot of different feelings about Barbie, and also managed to convert what might be ambivalence about Barbie into enthusiasm for Barbie.
He says the memes comparing the two movies drew even more attention, and the tide of good marketing lifted both boats.
Almost like, what could be more ludicrous than a doll versus a scientist? And so it almost became like they're going to duke it out, Barbie and Oppenheimer. But in fact, what it's doing is it's creating intense enthusiasm for two movies at the same time.
The enthusiasm goes beyond the theater. This restaurant is throwing Barbie-themed parties this weekend.
We're going to have a lot of pink balloons around. We're going to have our team wear Barbie and Ken-inspired outfits, which is very exciting. And we're also going to be playing a lot of Barbie songs, Nicki Minaj hits, because she's the queen of Barbs.
As you can see, the buzz around the movies is showing no signs of slowing down. And even I got caught up in the theme, you know, with wearing the pink.
And I'm wearing the pink as well. We're all repping it tonight. Thank you, Anam. And it is a nice night for people to be coming or going to a movie theater or whatever you're getting up to tonight. 22 degrees and clear skies out there. Riley Lachuk is here with a first look at the weather forecast. Hey there, Riley.
Well, Chris, I wanted to look back on yesterday really quickly. You know, the GTA seeing some rain through the evening last night. This was some very severe weather through southwestern Ontario. Environment Canada looking into whether a tornado touched down in the Sarnia area through the late afternoon. Wind gusts peaking at 117 kilometers an hour and thunderstorms, almost 100 kilometer an hour winds in Windsor in the afternoon yesterday. So looking at some of our daytime highs from today, 25 in Toronto, 26 in Hamilton through the late afternoon, 26 through the Windsor region through the late afternoon as well. So a much more calmer, a much more pleasant day across much of southern Ontario today. But we did see some rain impacting the Ottawa region over toward Kingston. The result of the same system that moved through Windsor up through the GTA through the evening last night. Looking at the forecast temperatures, first thing tomorrow morning, 19 for Windsor and Toronto. Otherwise, temperatures hovering around that 20-degree mark tonight. 27 tomorrow afternoon for the GTA. Light winds, but Chris, we could see some thunderstorms coming up in the later part of the weekend. I'll talk about that coming up.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you soon, Riley. Now to that new clue from investigators in Peel, and officers have been probing the death of food delivery driver Gurvinder Nath, who died after police say he was attacked and his vehicle was stolen. Police also releasing new details tonight about how the international student may have been lured to that Mississauga property at the beginning of July. Greg Ross with the new intel tonight.
Peel police have released images of this white Hyundai Accent, believed to be a 2012 to 2017 model with one unique aftermarket addition.
A distinctive flashing blue light can be seen at the top of the windshield.
Police say this car was seen multiple times in the area of Emerson Drive in Mississauga, where 24-year-old international student Gurvinder Nath was beaten and robbed.
On July 9th, 2023, at approximately 2:10 in the morning, Gurvinder, working as a delivery driver, attended the 1400 block of Emerson Lane in the city of Mississauga to deliver a food order.
Police believe that there were multiple people involved in placing a food order to the Pizza where Nath worked as a delivery driver. Police say when Nath arrived here to the Emerson Lane area to deliver a pizza, a suspect wearing dark clothing was captured on surveillance video getting out of that white Hyundai Accent. Moments later, Nath was violently assaulted and his car was stolen.
Gurvinder was taken to trauma hospital, where sadly, on the 14th of July, he succumbed to the injuries sustained during the robbery.
Police say Nath is an innocent victim. Most of his family lives in India. Jasvinder Milu is a family friend.
The family is in pain, shock. They are crying. It's very, very hard situation at this moment as they still waiting for the body.
Nath's car was recovered just hours after it was stolen.
Police located Gurvinder's vehicle abandoned in the area of Old Dairy Road and Old Credit View Road in Mississauga. His vehicle has since been forensically examined, and several pieces of evidence have been collected.
Police say the suspects may not have intended to kill Nath.
I guess the working theory is that perhaps there may have been extensive injuries that may not have been anticipated, and that may have caused them to get rid of the vehicle early.
Anyone with information about this vehicle or potential suspects is asked to contact police. Greg Ross, CBC News, Mississauga.
Police have made another arrest in the alleged kidnapping and assault on the self-proclaimed crypto king, Aiden Platursky. Now, earlier this week, we showed you video obtained by CBC Toronto of a beaten and bruised Platursky. He's the target of bankruptcy proceedings by investors who claim they lost more than $40 million to Platursky's cryptocurrency and foreign exchange business. In the video, Platursky explains what he claims happened to the money. He also apologizes to investors. Now, earlier this week, investigators announced 4 arrests on kidnapping and assault charges in connection with the case. Today, they added a 5th name to the list of those arrested. 22-year-old Alfredo Palladino of Hamilton is facing multiple charges, including kidnapping and aggravated assault. Now to our ongoing coverage of the plight of asylum seekers on Toronto streets. Tonight, a coalition of Black-led organizations is calling on lawmakers to specifically allocate new money directly to African refugee claimants. Their calls come as the need grows for more donations, with many of those refugees staying at churches in the city's North End. Dale Manukduk has the latest.
These are the beds that you brought in for the women's section, and they're better than sleeping on the ground.
There are still 80 refugees and asylum seekers staying at Dominion Church. Last night, relief agency Global Medic donated 50 cots, which are generally reserved for field hospitals around the world. It also gave a mountain of fresh linen, and the next step is to secure a washer and dryer.
We're just trying to see if we can get a company to donate, a scratch and dent unit that we as volunteers would go and take and install. And then from Tide, we've got a donation of different product of detergent so that we can actually do the laundry there.
Dominion Church and Revival Time Tabernacle Church have been housing hundreds of people since Monday night. Samuel Kasitsu has a deep connection to their situation. He slept in the church for 6 months when the province shut down at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I didn't know that a few years later, from 2020 to date, we would have this same place now house people from the streets.
If someone is escaping danger and they come to your house for help, no decent person would turn them away or say, let the authorities deal with them. You invite them in and you show them hospitality.
Dragon's Den star Wes Hall is the founder of Black North Initiative, one of the Black-led organizations that is part of the Black Community Housing Advisory Table, or BCHAT, which has been supporting the refugees and asylum seekers. In a press release, BCHAT writes in part, it is disheartening to witness African refugees being left on the streets, especially when all levels of government were aware of the need for shelter support to ensure dignified care for refugee claimants and asylum seekers. BCHAT wants to see Black communities involved in discussions on the distribution strategy of the $97 million in new federal funding announced on Tuesday, and wants to make sure that all levels of government do not create further barriers to securing permanent housing. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
And it's not just money. There are also growing demands tonight for work permits for asylum seekers to be sped up. And it's not just coming from refugee advocates. The mayor of Toronto and the premier also calling for it. Our Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley has that part of our coverage tonight.
Donations for asylum seekers are piling up at the offices of Skills for Change, where Sarana Sandy is the CEO.
We work to help immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers to settle in Canada.
Sandy says it would be easier for asylum seekers to get by in this country if they could receive work permits more quickly.
It would reduce the burden on the systems that we have in the shelter system and increase demands on the food banks. But I think there's also...
She says it wouldn't take much for Ottawa to speed up approvals.
I think the federal government could make a policy decision to expedite review of these work permits so those folks can enter in the labor market and to start on the path to building a really good life in Canada and taking care of themselves.
The recent scenes of refugee claimants camped out on downtown streets is bringing fresh attention to the issue. And it's got Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow and Premier Doug Ford sending similar messages to Ottawa.
The longer it takes for them to apply for refugee status, the longer it takes for them to get a work permit, the longer it is for them to become financially independent. They want to work.
The feds have to speed up the working permits. You can't have these people sitting around for, what is it? They told me 4 months, 4 or 5 more months. That's unacceptable.
People can wait even for a year.
Loli Rico runs the FCJ Refugee Center.
We had the cases that they came last year and was kind of a chaotic situation. They are still waiting for the work permit.
Advocates point out that Ukrainian refugees who escaped to Canada since the war began last year immediately had permission to work, as did resettled Syrian refugees back in 2015.
Welcome to your new home. Thank you.
To get a work permit, asylum seekers must submit fingerprints and pass a medical exam. They also need federal officials to decide that their claim is eligible to be referred to the Immigration and Refugee Board. Agencies say that initial screening is what slows things down.
Asking to the federal government, at the moment that the person make a refugee claim, the person do the medicals, because they can do it faster, they should issue the work permit.
Federal officials say the wait times are because there's been a surge in refugee claims in Canada. The government has made some changes to try to speed up the process, including that asylum seekers can now apply online for work permits. Mike Crawley, CBC.
Welcome back. We're getting reaction tonight from the province's nurses union after an arbitrator awarded them average raises of 11% over 2 years.
This is bringing us up to a level that demonstrates some respect, which we haven't really received, certainly under the Ford government. So we're happy to see that this is a step in the right direction.
All right, so the arbitrator's ruling was actually released yesterday, and it cited a staffing crisis and high inflation as part of the decision. It is the first contract since the nurses were subject to a wage restraint law known as Bill 124, which capped increases at 1% a year. But the union says nurses' concerns go beyond wages. The union also wants to see nurse-patient ratios reined in, better health and safety standards, and improved compensation for nurse practitioners. According to Statistics Canada, hundreds of thousands of Torontonians are food insecure, while Toronto wastes more than 90,000 tons of food every year. Patrick Swadden has more on one man's journey to bridge that huge gap.
Tony Colley has come a long way over the past 4 years, from experiencing food insecurity to running a business that helps alleviate it. But what is B1 to Give?
It operates like an Uber Eats style delivery platform, but it's strictly for surplus food.
Restaurants and businesses notify the app when they have surplus food. An employee then picks it up and delivers the food to local shelters and charities.
We're grateful that Tony's company decided to partner up with us.
And those donations, critical to places like Eva's initiatives.
That's what's great, right? It's different every week. And, we serve a diverse group of young people. So it's nice when we get all different kinds of foods.
She says getting the food delivered is simple.
We register as a shelter, and then we we get to know when items are available for donation.
And why is it so important?
Almost 7 million people live in food insecure households in Canada. So that's 18.4% of the population and almost 2 million kids.
Experts say Canada is one of the top contributors to food waste globally, with Toronto alone generating 90,000 tons of food waste each year, according to the city. Colley says the company's mission is to eliminate as much of Canada's $49 billion in food waste as it can. But he's had setbacks. CBC interviewed Colley in 2020, a week before the pandemic was declared.
Every single client that was engaged from that interview shut down for 2 years pretty much.
But Colley says they found new partners like restaurant group Oliver and Bonacini as they bounce back from the pandemic.
I think what Tony's doing is remarkable, and ensuring that this food goes to the right people is very important.
Bottomly saying it's made it easy for them to avoid food waste. B1 to Give has also partnered with Toronto Metropolitan University, the Fairmont Royal York, and Sheraton Conference Centre.
We have surpassed 33,000 pounds of food so far since we've been active, so that's really awesome. We've fed over 25,000 people across the GTA.
And they'll only keep growing, with Colley saying they'll soon partner with RBC and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Patrick Swadden, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, we are just a couple weeks away from the Toronto Caribbean Carnival, and the Toronto Police Service hosted their annual kickoff celebration today. This was the 32nd annual kickoff celebration for the police in partnership with the Children's Breakfast Club. The Grand Parade takes place on August 5th at Exhibition Place. But if you just can't wait to get the party started, the Junior Caribbean Carnival Parade takes place tomorrow at the Malvern Community Recreation Center, and festivities over there begin at 11 a.m. Now, of course, summer festivals mean road closures, and there are closures aplenty this weekend. So if you plan on driving, you'll want to plan ahead. We've got a full list of road closures and details on some transit disruptions as well. Right on our website, head to cbc.ca/Toronto. Some nice weather is on tap for all that fun stuff going on in the city this weekend, and Riley Lachuk is tracking weather for us tonight. Riley.
Well, Chris, this weekend definitely looking like it's going to be a pretty nice weekend to get outside, save for a few blips here and there. As we get through the night tonight, mainly clear skies across southern Ontario, a few high-level clouds first thing in the morning. Could see a hint of a shower through the late afternoon through southwestern Ontario, maybe a rumble of thunder once again. Nothing really to worry about other than that bright sunshine across southern Ontario tomorrow. So if you like the heat and humidity, tomorrow definitely going to be one of those good days to get outside. Much the same for Sunday. We're expecting a few high-level clouds, but it really isn't until we get to the afternoon that we do start to see some of this thunderstorm activity bubbling up again with the heat and the humidity that we're expecting. Good recipe for some thunder, scattered thunderstorms across southern Ontario through the later part of the afternoon, Sunday into Sunday evening. Monday, a little bit more cloud cover starts to build in. Some regions could see some scattered showers as we get into the early part of next week as well. 16 degrees for Windsor tonight, 13 in London, 17 overnight tonight for Toronto, and a bit wet still up through Ottawa and Kingston, still dealing with some showers through the night tonight, 16 for Ottawa, 15 for Kingston. Tomorrow in the afternoon, temperatures fairly nice across southern Ontario, 28 in Windsor, 27 for the GTA tomorrow afternoon. Bright sunshine. Best chance still for some slim chance, I should say, some showers through Ottawa and Kingston. 26 tomorrow afternoon and also 26 through the Ottawa region as well. So looking at a 26-degree high for Sunday, I didn't put the icon in, but a slim chance we could see some thunderstorms through the later afternoon on Sunday. Better chance comes through the afternoon on Monday into Tuesday. 26 degrees for both Monday and Tuesday. And then another 27-degree high under the sunshine on Wednesday, Chris. So, you know, if you're looking for a couple of good beach days, probably Saturday and the early part of Sunday, good bets for you.
I'm hitting the beach tomorrow. Thanks, Riley. All right, we started the show with Barbie, and we're ending with another blonde bombshell tonight. And it's something that we're hoping will make you smile. A much-beloved breed of dogs is celebrating a milestone anniversary. It has been 155 years since golden retrievers were first bred in the Scottish Highlands. Hundreds of golden girls and boys joined in the festivities in Gushgen, the breed's ancestral home. It is the 6th annual gathering of the pups that draws humans and their canines from more than a dozen countries, including contests, educational events, and lots of activities for the lively four-legged crowd. Wow, that's a lot of dogs. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Shannon Martin has you covered tomorrow at 6, and I'll see you back here at 11 on Monday night. Have a great weekend, everyone.